Culture Club is brought to you by Tropical Ice.
This poem is called Choral Classroom. As a teacher, I often look out into an ocean of faces. On mornings when the tide is low, I can see hands rise like coral clusters jutting out of the water, hesitant and scarce, as if afraid to be scorched by the sun's rays, as if the sun had not already raised the temperature of their ecosystem. How are they to thrive in these conditions? When they have been conditioned to calcify themselves into a 2x3 desk, notions of what nation they belong to coat their minds like a thick layer of sediment, suffocating the knowledge that they are more than American possessions. In my classroom, I want thoughts to swim through their mind like fish about what they wish this island could become. Open their eyes to what it means to decolonize. Imagine a future unpolluted by foreign power, where the plastic bags and soda cans of colonization can no longer cause contamination in their waters. I want ideas to ebb and flow like waves from brain to plans to progress. There is no progress without them. There is no KUAM without them. Their voices will be heard for generations. They are the makers of nations. They are the caretakers of our island's past and present and future. These students hold all the power. They are this island's protectors. Together, they will build a community, defend our people against tsunamis that threaten our democracy, grow into a reef of leaders and dreamers, determine a future they see for themselves that tells the world that KUAM is going nowhere. They will surround this island vibrant and vast and unyielding. And it is our job to ensure our corals are thriving. So my name is Nichole Quintanilla. I am from the village of Chalampago. I am 27 years old. I am a teacher at Ukuru High School. I teach KUAM history. I got my bachelor's in history and in Chamorro studies and my master's in teaching. And I really love my job. I love educating our youth and the next generation about where we come from and who we are, and hopefully they can continue to grow and build our culture into a better future for our island. So I have been writing poetry since I was in high school. When I was a junior, I took a creative writing class, and that was it for me. I was kind of in it for the long haul. I competed internationally. I was part of the Sinaganta youth movement as a youth poet. And then after I aged out of the youth poet status, I was part of the movement as an organizer and as a workshop director. And so poetry has always been part of my life since then, and I continued throughout my undergrad, and it plays a big role in my teaching as well. I do have my students do a lot of writing activities, and I feel like it's a great way to express not just our thoughts and our feelings, but where we come from and who we are. Creative writing and poetry, right, has been a huge part of the Chamorro culture since the ancient Chamorro times, right? We're an oratory culture, and our history was passed down by word of mouth. And so I feel like it's a huge part of our history, and so it's a big part of my classroom. I actually wrote this poem and submitted it for Storyboard 19, I believe it was. And the theme of Storyboard 19 was about the environment. And I always think about how, in my classroom, I want it to be a productive environment. I want it to be an environment where my students feel like they could thrive. And so, I do teach about coral, and like, even though it's a history class, we go into science and stuff like that in the beginning of the year. So that kind of got me thinking about like, our corals on island are in danger, right? Because of all of the environmental issues that we're facing and climate change. And I feel like it translates to the classroom, where I feel like my children, my students are in danger of forgetting who we are, forgetting where we come from, how important it is to represent who you are and where you come from. And so I feel like it's important to grow and to have your students or my students see themselves as coral and see themselves as thriving and building an ecosystem and building a life where they can help Guahan to grow and to protect Guahan and our culture and our history.
Culture Club is brought to you by Tropical Ice.